start, I was gonna have like 3-4 videos, and I bring my camera everywhere I go, cause I'm like, yeah, I'm vlogging my life, like I'm gonna do this. But y'all, by every time I get on the camera, I be ugly as shit. So moral of the story is I haven't put out a video because every time I look at myself, I'm like, damn, you ugly as shit. So I figured if somebody else seen it, they're like, damn, she ugly as shit. So moral of the story is hopefully I get cute one day and then I'll record a video and then we'll be good. Alright, y'all, so I'm at work. After I posted my little video, everybody was like, oh, you're not ugly, you cute, whatever the case is. So y'all gave me a little confidence, so shout out to y'all. So today I'm pretty much going to think about other side. Alright, y'all, I'm back. So I'm still at work, as y'all can see. I'm still here, but I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and record my video because I got about 30 minutes until I get off. And we ain't really doing nothing, you know? So this video is pretty much just going to be dedicated to my first, pretty much everything. I say that because when I first started thinking like, okay, what will be my first video? Everyone's like, you gotta allow your viewers to get to know you. So I'm like, okay, that's true. And I didn't want it to be like short. I wanted y'all to really be able to get to know me so that y'all will feel more comfortable with just watching my videos and just seeing who I am and how I live from day to day. So I'm saying I'm talking to my girlfriend and I'm like, if there was one thing you wanted to know about me, or if anything you didn't know about me that you wanted to know about me, what would you want to know? So a lot of everyone was saying like they would want to know about my parents and they would want to know what happened with my daughter's father and just, you know, pretty much just the basics of my life. Well, it's not even the basics because my life was pretty complicated. I'm not going to say I had a hard life. It was hard for me. But if someone knows, if I was looking at somebody else's life, I could see where things could have been better or worse than mine. So I never say that no one, I don't take away from people who really have had bad lives, but I felt as though my life wasn't all put together. And I say this to say this. I say that to say this. So for some of y'all who don't know me, I didn't grow up with a mom. I didn't grow up with a dad. When I was 2 years old, my father got killed in a car accident. He got killed in 1994. Pretty much all my life, my mother was on drugs. So my grandmother raised me. I remember meeting my mother once, and I remember it so vividly. I was a young girl. I was only in 3rd grade. I thought it was the best day of my life to finally get to see my mom. I'm like, oh my God, she's so pretty. So throughout my whole life, whenever I seen someone who looked like her, I always questioned whether or not that was her or not. So after my father passed away, my grandmother raised me, and I would go stay with the person who I call mom, which is my sister's mother. And after, I think in about, when I was going into 7th grade, I moved up to Upper Darby, and that's where I really grew up at. When I was living in South Philly, I was pretty quiet, stay to myself, just how I am now. And yeah, so pretty much that's how the portrait of my life of where my grandmother raised me. Up until recently, maybe 4 years ago, it's been 4 years now, my mother committed suicide. And at first, I didn't really know how to feel. At first, I always thought I wouldn't feel any kind of way because I didn't know her. But the more that I thought about it, I did feel some type of way because it was something that I never got to experience. It was a lot of things that I wanted to ask her that I never got the chance to ask her. And it just ate me up inside. It ate me up more so because I had her number. And I remember calling and I'm like, hi, may I please speak with Teresa? And she's like, this is she. And I just got real quiet and I hung up because I thought I had all the time in the world to sit and talk to her, but I didn't. So for a while it hurt. It hurt to know that I would never have that talk with my mother. And for me to be able to tell her that I did love her and I forgave her, and me having children, it just made me, my experience with not having a mother, just made me the mother that I am today. And I'm not saying that motherhood is so easy and every day is a walk in the park, because it's not, but that's for another video, so stay tuned. So I would say my senior year, My senior year, it was lit. I went to a new school, a predominantly black school. You know, all the kids were cool. It didn't feel like I was the new student because when I was younger, I had went to the elementary school that most people had went to. So a lot of people remember me, and I remembered a handful of people. Senior year was lit. I was going out. I was hitting the clubs. I was drinking. I was just doing me. I was living life. I was free. And so I remember this one night I went to the club with my sister. Mind you, it was a 21 to get in the club with me. Oh, I forgot my ID, so I just had to pay a fee or whatever. And I met my daughter's father in there. I was 18. He was 26. We kept in contact. So the day I graduated high school, we met up or whatever the case is. So moving forward, we were dating, we were together, we were in a relationship. I was set to go to the military. I don't know if anyone knows, but prior to me going to the Army, I was enlisted with the Marines straight out of high school. And that was a different experience. But needless to say, they sent my ass home because I was pregnant. And yeah, so here I am, now 19, I'm pregnant, and I'm coming back home. And this is my first time really setting in that I have to be an adult, like I have a baby on the way. And I was just like, ooh, I don't know what to do. My pregnancy, it was not a good pregnancy at all. Like, it was nothing how I ever pictured it to be, nothing that I ever thought it would be. Oh my God, he didn't go to no doctor's appointments. There'll be times he left me in the house. Mind you, if anybody know anything about North Philly, near Hunts Park, dangerous. That shit is scary. I wish y'all could see my facial expression. He used to leave me in the house by myself, and it was just rough. And let's just fast forward. I'm 8 months pregnant at this point. I moved back home with my grandmother after she kicked me out, because when I came home, I was pregnant. She kicked me out, so I had to go move with him. And I remember this day like it was yesterday. Like, I'm laying in the bed and I'm just thinking to myself, like, I had spoke to him earlier that day. He told me he loved me and he missed me or whatever the case is. And by later that night, his mother had called me and she said that she'd been trying to call me all day. And pretty much she just told me that my daughter was going to have to grow up without a father. And just imagine being a 19-year-old girl pregnant for the first time and experiencing death for the first time. Like, physically, someone being close to me that I no longer have. It was such a hard experience. It was such a hard swallowed pillow. It was such a hard pill to swallow. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, but I just want y'all to really understand who I am and why I do certain things and why I don't allow certain things. So that fast forward to, you know, my first pregnancy. Moving forward, I guess we could talk about my first marriage, because that all just kind of ties into everything. So when my daughter was 5 months, she literally had just turned 5 months. I met who was my son's father. We're not going to name his name. I mean, if you know me, then you know who he is. But for y'all who don't know him, we're just going to say his name is Chris. So I met Chris, and Chris was everything that I ever wanted in a man. Like, I knew from day one that I loved Chris. Like, I knew, and I really think what drew me into Chris was how good he was with Jade. Because after I had my daughter, I hated seeing children. Well, I hated seeing daughters and their fathers. It hurt because I knew that my daughter would never have that experience, and it was taken away from her. It wasn't because I stopped talking to the dad and we weren't together. It was because he was killed and I never even had that chance. She never had that chance. But Chris, when I say he came into my life, and you couldn't have told me he wasn't going to do nothing but amazing things in my life. He helped me so much with my daughter. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. You know how you get that feeling like things are too good to be true? Well, guys, things was definitely too good to be fucking true, okay? Nigga was dogging me. And I just was so tied up to him. Like, I held on to him so tight. Like, if I could talk to younger me, I would have told her, like, girl, he showed his true colors the first time. Don't give him no second chance. And then I wouldn't be hurt and I wouldn't have went through as much shit as I did with him. So we fast forward. We're together for 2 years, almost 3 years. it was 3 years, and then I found out I was pregnant. So I found out I was pregnant, and you know, he was happy, we was happy. You know, it wasn't always happiness in the beginning, but it was more so like what I want to do, and he was on board with whatever I wanted to do. So we was together and found out we was having a son. Everything was good, fine and dandy. Let's just fast forward to my first experience of giving birth with a father as a couple. Like, it felt so good. He was so good during my labor, and I just couldn't have asked for a better experience. That was the first time I had got to ever experience something like that. So it meant a little more to me than when I had my first labor with my daughter. So I had my son in October, and we just fast forward to December. So, yeah, hold on. No, y'all gotta work with me. As I said, I'm still at work. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to be doing something, but here I am talking to you. Listen, this is it. So yeah, y'all. So I remember this day like it was yesterday as well, because it was my best friend at the time. Graduation. She was graduating from college. And I just so happened to wake up and I'm feeding the baby because I was nursing. So he only really depended on me anyways. So Sarah just was like, girl, go to his phone. Ladies, when I tell you, if you ever get that gut feeling to go through a nigga phone, don't, okay? Unless you want to lose 10 to 15 pounds and be depressed, sad, okay? I recommend if you ever start to feel like you got to go through a man phone, ladies, cut that situation, because then that means you don't trust them. And if you don't trust them, why are you with them, right? But yeah, I was being young, and I'm like, yeah, let me go to his home. So found out whole pregnancy, even before we had broken up, he was with all types of girls or whatever the case is. And I had really wanted to go back into the military. As I stated before, I was prior service. So this time I'm like, let me try the Army and see what options that they have for me. And so he wanted to get married, and I just was on some shit like, I just want to get married so I don't have to give up custody of my kids. That was my main focus, y'all. Like, that was my main focus. And now that I think about it, I guess when you go into a certain situation, especially marriage, when you go into something negative, it brings nothing but a negative outcome, okay? So we tried being in a real marriage though. Like, I went off for the military and everything was so good. It was so good. Like, first time I trusted him in a very long time. He was doing everything I could have asked for in a husband. He was making things happen, and I will forever be grateful. The child, if I would have known what I knew now, baby, I would have left that alone as well. So needless to say, we can say that for another story time. My first marriage, it wasn't it. It was not it, y'all. It wasn't it. But I mean, that's a few of my firsts. If you have any questions, or if you want to know just more about me, just leave a comment. Please like and share my video. More videos is coming. You guys have allowed me to come out of my shell and be able to experience certain life lessons with you guys. And there's going to be more. But thank you and have a good night. I know you're probably having a hard time hearing me because I'm at work and they're vacuuming. But thank you for being patient, and I'll see you guys soon.